Well, hello there, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Welcome to Demystifying Government Contracting, where we are all about having critical conversations that are focused on empowering small business success. We know that there is no shortage of information out there. Uh, you can just Google government contracting, federal contracting. You'll come up with hundreds, if not thousands, of videos and information. But there is a shortage of context on how does that information impact me? What should I do with it as a small business owner at this particular time in my business journey? So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Michelle Gardner-Ince, aka GI, a small business champion and advocate, all things women, veteran, and minority-owned businesses, not just because those are social, economic categories, but because, there's a lot of opportunity. But with that opportunity and, the executive order 13985 that President Biden signed in 2021, every federal agency is looking for you. They're seeking to find women, veteran-owned small business and minority-owned small businesses that are ready. And so this, the conversations and the people that we have that join here with us every single week are business owners, senior procurement professionals, former contracting officers, and, business champions. I'm sorry about that. Champions that want to see you succeed. So let me get a little bit of administrative comments out of the way. Again, I'm Michelle Gardner-Ince, aka GI, and I just want to tell you that 9 to 5, my job is at the Department of Veteran Affairs as the director of the Women Veteran-Owned Small Business Initiative. However, if you go to my profile page, you'll see that everything that is said here, any comments are that of my own or my guest. It does not constitute necessarily a endorsement. Also would like for you to realize that, while we seek to give you correct information in context, in real time, we do ask you to trust, but verify all of the information that we're saying with your, I just put the disclaimer on the screen, with your legal, financial, tax, and business advisors. So the way we'll do it, we normally are in LinkedIn audio, which is a closed environment with no replays. But if you decide you want to come to the stage and ask us a question, or you want to ask a question, you can put it in the chat. So I want to welcome everybody. And, or if you want to come to the stage and you have a profile picture that we can check out, I'll send you the link to jump on and have a good time with us. So again, thank you for joining Demystifying Government Contracting, and we're so glad that you're here. Please introduce yourselves in the chat. Take a minute to say what you do, because I guarantee you there is somebody out there who's looking for you, who needs your product or service, and or it might be somebody that you can team with. Your LinkedIn says pre-live. Lord have mercy. Hold on just a minute. Let me just make sure it says I'm live. Let me see. Thanks for that, Lori. I'm just opening up LinkedIn here on my on my.
Okay, could be mean, but yeah, mine just have like a pre-live thing.
Let me see here. I want to make sure we are live. Maybe I need to go live on my iPad and my on my yeah. Once both of them say happening now online. So
Yeah, yeah, but when it clicked to join, and maybe they can hear us. I don't know. When
can
I
you all
tap
hear?
it,
Can you all out there hear us? With somebody in the audience, please let us know. I'm gonna type. Can you hear us? One says live. One says we're not live.
okay. Someone other than me saying it's not live.
I'm looking at the screen, and one set has a live, red live button. That's the one you should join if you're
So
trying.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gia, I just say I was not able to get on via LinkedIn. It is said it's waiting. However, when I came to the stream on yard, that's where I actually got you live.
Gotcha. That's
Yeah, on LinkedIn, it's just still saying the event will start soon. Wait for the host to start. So
but then do you see the one that says happening now?
no, that's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on
Yeah. So if you go to my, let me repost this one.
yeah,
If you
but when it
go,
say okay, let me go back out. Okay.
repost. So the one I just reposted should be live. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope those of you that are listening, can anybody hear us? Because when I click on the one that's live
Good
that
now.
has the
Yeah.
white
Mhm.
screen, I can hear it.
I'm good now. Yeah. Okay, I just turned you down, but I hope they
Can you
can
hear
hear
it
you.
now?
I'm live now.
Okay. Okay, good. Apologize for that. It looks like there's two events out there. And one is live. One has a big live red button on it. The other one does not. So if people follow me, let me just do this one. Let me put the link to this one in that other one. Hold on a minute here. I don't know. LinkedIn don't like me. It has been giving me. I have put in tickets. It has been giving me a hard time. Uh, okay, somebody said LinkedIn says live in 1 hour. Okay. Hold on. Oh, maybe I put the wrong time. Let me see here. Um, all right. Y'all want to go ahead and introduce yourself while I'm doing doing this? Let me just put you on mute for a minute. Go ahead, Lori, and then JD, and then Michael.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Lori Smith. I am the CEO of Archaeologist, a government contracting consultant and coaching business. And my focus and my main job is to help you all learn this stuff the right way. And to Michelle's point, a lot of folks that has a lot of information. But what I do hope that we provide at Archaeologist is substance and truth. And so leveraging my 41 years of service in government as relates to logistics, supply chain management, as well as contracting to provide you the top-notch support that you need. And so happy to be here every Wednesday as usual, and grateful for this opportunity to support Michelle as well as you all in this journey.
Thank you, Lori. I'll go up next. I'm James Davis. I am a retired colonel in the United States Air Force, currently working as an executive procurement executive for the Department of Education, Federal Student Aid. I have a little over 36 years of experience with contracting or procurement, logistics, acquisition with program development, as well as auditing. Similar to what Lori has said, I'm here to offer my years of experience to hopefully help anyone who is in need of learning about how the government operates. I think I've been in all the different stages of the government when it comes down to contracting and procurement. So I'm here to offer my help, and I look forward to the exchange. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Hey, Lori, can you go ahead and start us out tonight? We're going to be talking about, the importance of what to do and say when you're in front of a client. We just left the Vets 24 a couple of weeks ago. Many people had opportunity to do matchmaking. We got the government procurement conference starting next week, next Wednesday, basically a week from today, where people be matchmaking and going up to booths and talking to procurement decision makers. Can you talk a little bit about what should they be saying in those few minutes at those events? And then anybody else jump in. Let me deal with these technical issues.
Well, Michelle, that really is a loaded question. What should they be saying? And for the most part, my hope is that when you find yourself in front of a potential client or someone, hopefully you position yourself so that you're actually standing in front of a person that ultimately is going to bring you value to your organization. So even in our engagement, when we go to the conferences, it is very important to know who it is that you intend. Who are you intentional about? And so who would you like to meet? Who are you wanting to engage? What information are you purposely going to the conference for? So if you're going to the conference with an intention in mind, and if you have that opportunity to be in front of someone that could potentially provide you some type of opportunity or just an opportunity to engage, whatever you say, you want it to make sense at the end of the day. But what is it that you want them to know about you? The time that you're going to be interacting is going to be relatively brief. And you want to be able to provide them with a lead in and a story that would compel them to want to hear more about what it is that you have to say. So please be prepared when you go. Know your purpose and why you are there, and just make it the best opportunity that you can. You don't want to be unprofessional, because even in an environment where everyone is engaging and they're getting to know one another, there still is a level of decorum that we also have to make sure that we maintain and we're not foregoing. And so sometimes, we can take the persona of the ease of conversation or the or person's personality and make the assumption you can just let your hair down. But be mindful of what it is that you communicate and what it is that you say, and try not to put yourself in a situation where you're being offensive, because you don't want to be offensive. Because even if someone will tolerate you for that moment, because they potentially won't just stomp away, they will remember that offensiveness, and what they will do from a body language perspective is shift a conversation away from you when you've said something inappropriate. So just make sure you're able to, really read the room and just understand that. But and if you're not intentional, you're going just to observe and get a flow and a feel for things, because it's okay to be in that space as well. Then just monitor. And don't be the leader of the conversation. Engage and follow at that point in time if you have no intentional purpose. But again, still be prepared just in case. So that's what I would say initially about what they should be saying when they're standing in front of someone in those types of events.
If I could kind of add to that, Laura, you're spot on. I'm going to probably take that back a little bit on prior to having the engagement with the individuals. And we talked a little bit about this in the previous weeks. One, there are a lot of different conferences and meetings that are out there for the federal government. You need to, first of all, know what the event is and what it's being targeted for, because if you're choosing to go, you want to make sure you have an understanding of the event's purpose. It could be whether they're doing market research for the federal government or they're building the industrial base when it comes down to the government. So it could be a whole host of things that that event is targeted for. So kind of going in, you want to do your homework on that. You also want to try to find out, and we said this a couple of weeks ago and last week, know who's attending, whether you have the list of the government agencies, also the companies that are out there that will be attending. And I say this to kind of prep yourself so that you go in, like what Laura was saying, when you go to engage, you kind of need to know, one, what your business is about, how you're going to go and engage with whomever you're trying to talk and engage with, have a purpose and what I call a takeaway from those conversations, make them very meaningful. If you just want to go and canvas and see how things are, that's good too. But make sure that you take the most or make the most out of these situations because the government is offering them up with the expectation of you taking some things back because that's exactly what the government's trying to do.
Let me just jump in here and ask you all a question because I love having conversation with business owners because I'm telling you they get me. They're just as direct with me as I am with them, and they said, Michelle, we so tired of people telling us to do our homework, right? So having said that, what kinds of things, market research, we can still call it homework. Um, what does that look like? Not just the sources, but what kind of context should they be using to be prepared? And maybe I need to start using the word get prepared, be prepared, rather than homework. But she said, if I hear another government person telling me to go do my homework, I've been in business 14 years and I've done my homework. Give me something that I can use to grow my business to the next level. What y'all got to say about that?
Oh God, don't get started.
I'll let the coach go.
Yeah, that kind of struck a little chord in there right there, Miss Michelle Gardner there. Hey guys, hey ladies and gents, good afternoon, evening. Uh, and if I were to hear that person talk around me, and y'all been around me enough, I will go right back to that person, and I would say, just because you've been in business for a certain period of time doesn't mean you've really been in business for a length of time to where that answer is a very neophyte answer. It's a very immature answer. I would be honest with them. And I said, I know I'm going to poke at you and you may not want to hear this. But for example, Vets 24.
Wait, before you go, she
Mhm.
had 31 million. So she ain't no baby. I'm just saying, she
Well,
a
no.
big girl. She
Yeah,
a
yeah,
big
yeah,
girl.
yeah, yeah. But and even to that point, your revenue is as such, and we were dealing with a $40 million company today. So I won't let the numbers fool you. But if you're asking that question, you're trying to go to that next level. You're trying to go to the 60 plus, the potentially 100 million. I'm not sure where the revenue goal is at. And I think one, it falls into, I'm gonna cover 1, 2, 3. One, and I'll give Vets 24 because we just left there in Orlando. And the mission statement, line 2, is one that I'll hone in on. And it says they want to make sure that these veterans are procurement ready. And when I mentioned that in conversations with a few of even the vendors that were there, they were kind of surprised that was there. I was like, didn't y'all read the mission statement? To the point that was just made, you want to know why these offices are even there. So the homework is understanding the landscape of which the people that are putting on the event, i.e. the folks that you want to have a check written from. Like you want to do business with the people, but you don't understand what the business is, who you're doing business with. And I think it's a respect level because you want to do business with them, but you're not willing to put in the time to learn who these people even are and what's their mission. What are they doing this for? You may be attacking it from one angle, but if you only just looked at why this is even happening, the feasibility of it all, the homework, or what is it about this agency or this company, whoever it is that's your customer, you want to learn why they even exist in the first place and what are they out there to do and accomplish. It's more than transactional. This is where the relationships are built, but this is where the understanding of why they even exist in the first place. What's Bunker Labs for? What's this for? What's these different entities even for? That's where the quote unquote homework comes in, so that when you're engaging with with them. You can have a deeper level of conversation of how what you do, one, aligns with the mission and vision on hand, and two, you can go deeper into the conversation of how your mission lines up with theirs and how you help solve these problems at a deeper level. So it's way past transactional. So when someone says that, it tells me that you're either afraid to do the homework, you think you're too good to do the homework, or you're not understanding what it's really about. And I think at its core essence is that last part. You're not really sure why it's there. Because for me, hey, coach, I want to do business with you. I want to learn from you. I want to work with you. I'm like, why? Why me? I'm like, have you not gone through my LinkedIn and my Instagram and my website? Because if you don't understand me, I don't want to work with you because you haven't taken the time to at least get to know me. And we've talked about the dating,
Yeah.
synonyms and all of that. But I think at a core level, people want to be understood and appreciated. And when you understand them, you show them by doing that homework, they really took the time to understand me. You know what? Okay, let's keep talking. Let's keep conversing. Let's get past the RFPs and all that. How can we work together? How can you help us really accomplish these tasks and goals? And I think if people understood that, 300,000, 3 million, and 31, like the client you're talking about, they can get further along the path than they are now.
I wholeheartedly agree. And what it took to get you there is not what it takes to get you, where you're going, where you want to go.
Oh,
right?
without a doubt. Yeah. What got us here
Yeah.
is not taking you to
Yeah.
the next level. No.
Now, mind you, I think her heart was pure. She seemed very humble to me. I just love when people are honest with me, because we can't serve people we don't understand, right? We can't help people that we don't understand. So, I try to be approachable and accessible so they will be transparent, because we can only help if we can reach them, if they feel like we have their best interests at heart, right? And we're not just giving them the standard how to do business with briefing, with a new term I heard recently, that's Googleable, right? They, just like we don't want them to come to us with stuff they should know. They're saying when we show up at these events, we should be telling them things that they can find on their own. They want to hear the secret sauce.
And Michelle, if I
Come on.
may, just to add to that to the conversation, when we talk about doing the homework, and to Coach's point, if you're trying to scale to go greater or higher than where you're at, there is no value in you coming to a lesson, obtaining information, and then not prepared to go home and study to show your own self-approved.
True.
Me telling you how to go about doing something will mean absolutely nothing if you don't do homework. And if you know you want to scale, if there's a direction and a place you're trying to go, how are you going to know where you desire to go if you haven't done something to say, I want that to be my next mark? So even from a preparatory perspective, we always need to know the direction and where we're going. So if I want to be greater, if I want to enhance my operation, I need to know what that looks like or what I want it to look like. And I've had to have done some kind of research and a homework to make sure, or to just have an idea that, okay, it's even time for me to go and I'm prepared to go. So at the end of the day, there will never be an occurrence if until such time as we retire, we don't want to do nothing but just relax and hang out with the babies. There never be a time when you're in business where you are not going to be required to prepare yourself, reskill, upskill, whatever term you want to utilize it. And so that, in essence, is the definition of homework. So I think people need to describe that operational definition for it so it can mean something better to them, or it won't become a mental block. But at the end of the day, we don't learn anything by just getting it, and not to the degree that we need to, or the depth that we need to learn it. We're just hearing it for a time or two from someone else, because now you're trusting someone else's word to go out and do something that you haven't studied to show that it's doable and plausible for you. So at the end of the day, it's gonna be some homework that's gonna have to be done, and we're
Absolutely.
gonna cross the T's and dot the I's. And I know people get frustrated when hearing it, but it's just what we got to do. And
Well,
let's find
I
a better
think
word.
that everyone is spot on. But what it said to me is maybe, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, maybe we should sort of assess the audience to see who we are talking to, right?
So you're saying
That is true.
is what level they're at. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So I think this is a very interesting conversation because I think you just hit a key point. We can't assume that everybody's at the same level of proficiency, right?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, when they have their business and they have a business idea, they're not going through all the steps. They're not going through the marketing. They don't understand marketing research. You know, this is the direct result of marketing research. Being prepared when you go to these industry days and events. You know, when you're going to the federal government, do you know where to get the information? Do you need to know that you need to go to USA Spending, right, to see what they're spending, what their projections are to, so say if I selected uh Department of Commerce or something, I
Mm-hmm.
need to go
Mm-hmm.
there. I need to see what their strategic plan is. You know, even back that out. If I can see what the strategic plan is at the national level, then take it down to the agency level, then take it down to the department that I'm interested in, and I'm able to get in front of that stakeholder and show them that I know from that information what their pain point is and show them what value that I provide them, that's going to be
Mm-hmm.
impressive and they're going to remember me. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? You know, you add in the additional stuff about, you know, home, hobby time, you know, religion and stuff like that to add that extra fluff to the conversation. But that initial homework needs to come from a place of intentionality, right? So you need to be intentional about, oh, I understand. I know that I need to go to this resource. I need to do this information. I need to go to their site. So I'm an IT guy. I'm gonna go to their CIO site. I'm gonna look and see, okay, what type of strategy he has. What are some of the events that they're doing? You know, what are some of the um, major things that they're doing over the next year where I can help influence that, help them, you know, bring them a service. So I really think that we need to also communicate to the people that we're working with at their level and say, hey, not trying to embarrass you or anything, but I understand you may not know how to do the market research because the guys like you and you know I've been around you guys long enough to understand it. Hey, these are the places I need to do the market research there. But sometimes people need to go back and check just the foundation of their business and make sure they have all those things in place because it'll make their business stronger and they'll be able to withstand that scale up to 60, 70 million because at a point it's going to become an efficiency problem.
Right.
Well, I think, Michelle, you also had a good point when you said that the conference, when we were attending the conferences, even the conference host and the lecturers
Mm-hmm.
got to make sure that even based on the purpose of their conference, and they know the people that are
Yes.
there, they make sure that their messaging actually answers the question that people are coming there for. Because I've been at a few of the conferences here recently, and we're having conferences and we're getting people together. But when we get inside of the breakout sessions of the different talks and the rooms they have, all of the information is just not valuable, usable information. So we got to even be more purposeful in the release of the information and giving people what we actually know they need. Because if someone comes to a particular conference, they're going to look at the purpose of that conference, the intent of that conference, and then they're going to look at the topics of the lectures that are supposed to be going. And so they have this assumption based on that description that this is information I'm going to get. But when we get there and it's the same old, it is discouraging. So I do agree with that point, that you made, that even from presentation perspective, we can't be gatekeepers and we got to give the information and be flexible enough to know that if I get an environment and I see I have a bit more progressive room and what I prepared for is not as balanced as it needs to be, have the wherewithal and the ability to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not get so caught up with, oh, stop, don't ask the question. I want to do all of my
Mm-hmm.
slides, because I've heard that at a few conferences. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, your audience, your slides is not speaking to the audience. So they are telling you the information you have. is not of value to them. You can't pivot and talk about your craft. And that's what we have to be able to do. And that's when you're able to, set apart, various experts. When an expert can't pivot and forego a screen or a presentation and just go raw and answer your question and address your needs, then they're just not really experts. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, and maybe they're just not right, not the right person to be there, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
and there's a couple of conferences I've been to that have, and you know this, Dr. Lori, that there are a couple of conferences where you get CEUs, right? And because you get CEUs, um, there's a potential random audit where they're gonna check and see, um, did you really meet the objectives of what you said you were going to give? And I think in some respects, we need something like that in the small business education arena to make sure that we are giving the right people the right information. There used to be a time, like 10 years ago, there would be different tracks. There would be like a start track, right? If you're just starting out, you're going to go and get these briefings, these things. If you're in the growth where, you're over 1 million, you're going to get this. And then if you're ready to be a big girl or a big guy, there was another track. I don't see that as much now.
So GI, you're absolutely correct. I think that although they don't have those tracks today like they used to in the past,
Mm-hmm.
we as the government, or better yet, as a conference, whether it's the government or not,
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to set those sessions up to not only meet the company's needs and what the governments look to get from the company, but typically, and maybe it's not all the time, but if you are a company and there are certain things you want to talk about or be engaged with, reach out to the sponsor, let them know
Mm-hmm. They
things that
love that. That's a great. That's a great
know
point.
how to target some of their information, because the engagement is only as fruitful as the two people trying to engage. I mean, so you want to make sure you put that up front and make sure there's an expert there who can answer those type of questions. I was going to just kind of put just a couple of things out. The person who said that they're tired of doing the homework, Coach kind of started this, and I'm going to just kind of touch on a little bit as well. First of all, we can't speak to everyone unless we know what different people want. So that's where the engagement comes into play. So whatever that company's objective, whether they want to grow revenue, whether they're trying to spread their footprint or create legacy, be the first right of refusal, every company has different goals. Now, I
Yes.
would say what's consistent for all the companies when they say do the homework. Well, one, are you proficient in your domain that you're working in? Do you know who your client is, the agency? I mean, and know them well, and they know you. I mean, do you know your product that you're trying to provide, as well as their requirements, and how their requirements is going to align with your requirements, so that there's a mutual exchange there? What's the agency's mission, and how does that mission and strategy align with your company's mission and strategy? Well, what are some of the timelines that the company has for the acquisition planning, so that you can align your capital investment with those acquisition plans, so that you both are in line with the government or your client? You got to know who your competitors are. You also need to know who you can actually do joint ventures with, just in case you want to extend your capacity beyond what it currently is. The whole point is there's a lot of different things you need to do in order to be the expert in your domain. So if you're the expert, you may not need to do homework, but not a lot of companies are the expert. So
Right. Well, I think,
things you need to
I
feel.
think, I think in this case, this particular company that I said, like, she's a big girl. She said they probably gonna do 40 million this year. They're at 31, right? Um, uh, is that she's very focused on 2 or 3 agencies and has done all of her business. So she already knows her clients, right? So maybe I think her perspective is, I know them, so now give me something more. And I think it's more. One of the things I did was share the APBI event that's coming from VA. The acquisition procurement APB briefing to industry, which basically is saying this is what uh, you know VA is going to buy. And every agency has those briefings. And I think a startup going to that briefing will be, they'll be like a deer in the headlight. But for a company like that who already is knee deep, proficient, got the back office straight, all of that, and it's just about finding new business in a different agency than the agencies they're in. I think that's a whole different concept, because it's more about, I've got 14 years of deep past performance. Now I'm looking for, just tell me the strategy so I can then create my own business, development approach based on, much more, I want to say, opportunity focused kind of information, rather than the basic how to do business. Go look on SAM, go look on FPDS, because they got a whole BD proposal team. It's like they're just a bigger company, and I appreciated her perspective, because I think for me, I still am thinking about what do the startups and the newbies need, not realizing that there are larger companies who want to come to these events and find value as well. So that was really my point.
Yeah, yeah, I'm going to just say one thing, because here again, you're right. Maybe startups are getting some information, but if this is a large company who does, quite a bit of work, looking at what we call the forecast, every government agency forecasts how they're going to spend their money every fiscal year. And so knowing what those projects are and going to those conferences, that's where you get to find out what percentage or how you want to increase your market share of the total agency spend. Because if you're getting 40 million and the agency has a couple of billion, all that, go in and find out where's the space that's left, and can you fit within that to grow?
No, I don't get me wrong. I'm defending her because maybe I had a deeper conversation with her. Is that the people on the stage giving the information? Like I said, I don't think there's a good assessment of who do I have in the audience. And there's one Ozabu director I've seen do that. Every time he's on a panel, he'll say, "Wait a minute, tell me how many of you are at this level or that level," and people raise their hand, and he goes, "Okay, good. Now I kind of know how to, answer the questions," is my point. And she's saying that that's not done most of the time, and people just automatically start talking, and it's the basics.
And I think too, Michelle, to the point you said something, when you've already expanded and stretched yourself in the existing space that you're in, it's actually time for you to go find you a new man.
Yeah, that's what she's looking for.
And so, and then too, what you also have to do is then go do research to see what conference you need to attend that align with that, because there are conferences that the government hosts that are at various levels. So it becomes, I need to be in a different space at a different level. And at those more elevated conferences, you go find those. So you may not find it at the general conference that most small businesses, startups are going to be at, because that purpose is to bring that group along. So it becomes, okay, I need to chat the company I'm keeping, and I need to go find me another client that still has need of my service. And again, it still goes back to doing some fundamental steps to find out who else is in the game. And then from that perspective, now you're potentially just in a different level, different neighborhood, and a different type of event or that you're going to have to create for yourself, and potentially just getting more engaged in some of the various councils and connecting and signing up for those type of organizations to just elevate your status. Because there are some various organizations out there
like FCF, like SAMI, where it's much more industry focused events, not these all in one, right?
Exactly.
Like the generic ones. Yeah.
And so you have to align yourself with that group. So it's about understanding that there are, even from a conference attendee, an association, and a gathering, and a networking component. There's different layers even in government. And so you have to put yourself in those higher levels if that's where you want to go. And you just have to find those opportunities, and they are out there as well.
But I like that. If you're looking for a new man, girl, you got to, you got to get some, you got to get, new do, and, might want to get you a couple of new dresses and shoes. You know what I'm saying? But yes. So welcome. Hey, you know what? We've been going 7:42. We had a little technical difficulty, and I didn't get to do my very favorite thing to do every week, and that is to introduce the amazing human beings that are on the stage. I'm going to ask everyone to make sure that they have a biopic up so that everybody knows who's talking. But I would be remiss if I did not introduce these amazing human beings. Welcome to Demystifying Government Contracting. If you just joined us, we have been talking about, meeting with the client, going to different events. And, I was just sharing some feedback I gotten from a couple of people about feeling like they're not really getting anything new at these events. And I see Daniel came to the Vets 24. And one of the things he's saying is he's a veteran, but he's new to government contracting terminology. And he's saying, hey, I'd like to know what some of these acronyms stand for. So I think we use FPDS, which is Federal Procurement Data System. That's where past acquisitions, you can see expiring contracts on there. It's a great way to understand the culture and the language of the particular agency you're targeting. And then APBI, somebody want to help me with that one? Anybody want to help me with that one? The acquisition.
Yeah, we're fine with my mute. It's the acquisition plan and briefing for industry, just like you said. So
Okay.
it's a plan and briefing, Daniel.
And it's a strategic level, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And typically at the acquisition briefings, what it will occur is that or agency will have all of their departments or entities that's specific to the agency, and everyone will come in and communicate what they've done over the past years as to projects and different things. And then at the end, they will also let you know what's on the horizon as it relates to projects and programs they have in the works.
So I do want to introduce y'all. Thank you for that. So hopefully that was helpful. Daniel, if y'all have questions, please put your questions in the chat. And so while you are getting your questions together, I'm going to get to do my favorite thing, and that is introduce these amazing human beings on the stage. Let me tell you, 2021, yep, January 2021 was when Demystifying Government Contracting, now used to be Equity in Government Contracting when we first started out. I was a beta tester for LinkedIn audio feature, and I said, if I get to beta test this, I'm going to use this for the small business community to help educate them, inspire them, help them have a place where they can connect, collaborate, celebrate each other's success, as well as get some speed coaching. Well, I started out by myself, and one by one, each one of these amazing human beings showed up and showed out. They came up and just generously shared. And I said, this is my family. This is my tribe. I am so thankful for them. Let me first start out with Coach Sean Austin, Bank Ready Solution, Austin Business Strategies. I so enjoy this brother. What an amazing mind he has. Always trying to, I'm telling you, work some data so that he can help his business and his clients become more bank ready, which is trademarked. And he is a bridge to your business success using his bank ready and AI strategies. He's a business coach. He's a business strategist. and he is my brother. Welcome. So good to see you.
Yes, ma'am. Always to be here. I gotta record that one day.
Well, it's different every time. I just want to love on y'all. Y'all can't when y'all go on to the pearly gates, y'all gonna say, GI gave us our flowers while we was alive. That's the whole goal.
Yes,
Uh,
indeed.
thank you for joining us. Next, I'm going to introduce one of my newest brothers, Michael Council. Let me tell you, I went down to Dr. Lori Smith's Sowing Our Seeds event, which, oh, by the way, is coming up in October. And Michael was a speaker. But what got me was Michael is a master. That boy is smooth. Not only is he a cyber expert, passionate about that CMMI, every time I talk to him, he is all about helping organizations and small businesses be successful and protect themselves from all of those horrible people trying to infiltrate their business and infiltrate the government. But let me tell you what I loved about him. I didn't meet him until I went to Lori's thing, and I think I had known him maybe 5 minutes, and he just put me at ease like I had known him all my life. He said, I know you. And then we started talking, and I don't know what I said. And then he wanted to pull out his microphone. He said, let me tell you, if you give him a nugget, he gonna pull out the microphone. He gonna ask you, can he record? And I'm not sure he gave me enough time to say, okay, but he had that record red button going. But what I love about him is his ability to immediately put clients at ease, build relationships, and we got some great stuff coming because we're going to have the Cybersecurity Council coming under the Demystify Government Contracting brand with him and Romeo Gardner. So excited to see you, brother. We about to do this thing.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Thank you so much. I tell you what, thank you for all the kind words. I appreciate you giving me my flowers while I'm still on earth. But I'd like to give everybody else their flowers and just let you know I am an open book. If you want to know how to protect your organization or just something that I have in my possession, I'll give it to you because God loves somebody who gives to others. So thank you so much for the opportunity to pour into our community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for being with us, brother. Next up is the person I have known the longest on here, JD, Mr. James Davis. I have known him for 24 years. We met in 2000. If it wasn't in 2000, then it was in 2001. But let me just tell you, I met him at a gas station. I have a habit of stopping people. And I said, this brother is tall, dark, and handsome. He's wearing that uniform. He's a captain. I know he needs the help of a colonel. So I said, look, I started talking to him. What are you doing? Who you work for, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be your mentor. And I have been his big sister for all of those years. I am so proud of him. He's a senior executive with a federal agency. And guess who gave him the contact to get that job? Wonder who that was. Guess who helped him get a key job working directly for the 3-star on the base within 6 months of me meeting him? Wonder who that was. But more than that, he has operational experience. He has been a contracting officer under fire. He has been a commander. He has been at the Air Force level as an IG coming in there looking at that contracting fraud. Brother, thank you for all that you do. I'm so proud of you. You did the work, but it was a pleasure. If you got a superstar, you ain't got to do nothing but open the door and they going to shine. It's my pleasure, brother.
So Gia, I guess I'm like Coach. I need to record that. I think it goes without saying, G.I., you never meet any strangers. You've always been the same, giving of yourself selflessly and willing to really make something out of nothing. I am so grateful that God has blessed me to have the opportunity to be with you or have met you, if you will, because you have my life. I will say that altogether. And these sessions that we're having, they are just awesome. Long overdue, but they're awesome. And I hope that they're fitting what the companies need, if you will.
Thank you, brother. So kind, so kind. So next, Lori, I'm saving you for last, girl, because I'm gonna give you a chance to do a little SOS shout out. Next we got Chanel Glover. Hey, lady, Chanel Glover. Oh my God, I met her. She came up on here. I mean, dropped dimes like she was 60 years old, and she just turned. I don't even think she's 40. Um, this girl has been at the federal government. She's been a contractor. She's now a business owner. She's a business coach. She's a thought leader and a mover and shaker in the California and DC arena. If you're a tech company trying to transition into government contracting, she's got something for you. But most of all, she's so generous and just so knowledgeable at a young age. And I'm just saying, look out. I'm voting for Chanel for president. Chanel, I appreciate you. Thanks for the impact that you're having for small businesses, not just in the LA area, but with anybody that comes into your sphere.
Oh, thank you, GI. I don't know what to say. It's not often that I'm speechless, but thank you so much, and I appreciate being here because although I do this all day, it's important that we get as much information out as possible, especially with all the misinformation on social media. So I'm honored to come every week.
I know, I know. One day we're just gonna have to do like a whole like session on. They said this on a YouTube, and it's that. I think we ought to plan that. That'll be
Yes,
awesome. But
I'm
thank you
down
so
for it.
much. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
being here. So we did JD, we did Michael, we did Coach Sean, we did Chanel. The last gentleman up is AP, Anthony Peters. Met him three, has it been 3 March, April, May, maybe 4 months ago. And let me tell you, what a delight. He said he told Coach, he said, look, I am going to get to know GI, and he has done exactly that. He has who's somebody's unmuted. I don't know who is unmuted, but sorry, everybody mute if you can. He has done exactly that. He has done exactly what he was supposed to do. If you are interested in a client, you need to understand them. You need to build a relationship to the point where you would be honored to have them open doors for you, to leverage their influence for you. He is CEO of Naveau Communications. He's an Air Force veteran as well. He is in a very unique area. I love it. Robotics, security, and with a business that's young. He's not necessarily new to business, but this business is new, and he has gone over 7 figures in less than 3 years. Brother is killing the game and has a plan to be even bigger. He's a great mind. You got to hear him when he was during Small Business Week. But I am a big admirer of who he is as a leader and a business owner. It's so nice to see you, brother.
Hey, thank you much. No, I'm truly honored to be here with you. Much like everyone else has said, let's give you your own flowers before we're on the other side. But been happy to be, just a small part of this and amongst these great minds, and love the fact that you've spoken $1 billion into my business. So. I'm telling you, believe you me, every time I get on my knees, I'm like, AP1B, not a problem. But definitely a pleasure to be here and love to contribute.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That's true. I told this brother, I said, let me tell you, I heard him do a capability brief to a senior acquisitions person at VA. And I'm like, look, you need to up your game. You need to think bigger. You're $1 billion company. Just give it about 10 years. If you implement half of this strategy, let's go. So it's a pleasure.
Hallelujah.
It's a pleasure. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad you joined the community. One of the things that I love to do is when I have the opportunity to sit in on capability briefs uh, with companies that I've introduced to somebody, because I then really get to know the company better, and I get to hear the kinds of questions the potential client is asking, and then I can better help and support, which is what it's all about. And, it's about helping people achieve their economic dreams and legacy wealth, all through entrepreneurship. So, do we have any questions? Let me see. We got any questions here? I see we got. Hey, Daniel, there's your acronym resource right there. Let me see. JD is dropping all the links in the chat. Okay, let me put these here and put these on the screen. Did anybody want to add to the conversation that we were having? I don't see any questions right now. Let me look and see. I don't see any questions.
I want to add something real quick, Jack, because I got to
go ahead. Go ahead, please.
So one of the I'll say even privileges that we have as a consulting firm, we deal with everyone from startups, A-rays that are going into VC, looking at venture capital, and that market feasibility piece, that guidance is what you'll hear, like if you watch CNBC, for example, and you'll always be looking at those guidance calls that come, say, every quarter or semi-annually, that are coming from the CEOs after they have an earnings call. And that guidance is showing you what's around the corner, not just what they're predicting to build on the revenue side, but what projects are they being involved with, et cetera. Oftentimes they have whitehouse.gov links that are on their Yahoo Finance pages that shows that they're consulting with the government for something. So a lot of those worlds will merge. Oftentimes businesses of a certain revenue may not notice the importance of those guidance or those briefings where you're looking at what's going on next year, the next 5 years. On the state level, you have something called capital improvement projects. They get updated every year, but those are 5-year projects. So as a business, you've got to understand the landscape that's in front of you, not just the next 12 months, but over the next 3 to 4 to 5 years, right? NASA's, theirs is like 20 years out. So when you see how far these plans go and you figure out how you fit into that, you're also seeing the movements of the industry. These things don't just happen overnight. NVIDIA is a juggernaut in of itself. But if you saw and I brought this up in this meeting, even the briefing that they had when they had their CEO came out, and he talked about all the firms that were involved with NVIDIA. Everybody from JP Morgan to Siemens, so many companies are using these chips. They are one of the main consultants on the CHIPS Act, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you've got so much going on that we miss it oftentimes by not looking at forward guidance in these industries. So government end or not, at the end of the day, it's the business of doing work with your customers. Understand your customer, but more importantly, y'all understand the industry you're in. And to Dr. Laura's point she made earlier, getting to some of these more sophisticated conferences will come when you understand the landscape of who's controlling the market, who are the market movers, and where you play ball within that arena.
I agree. One of the things I want us to, if we got a few minutes before we close out, to drill down on, and Anthony, you can jump in because you've gotten a lot of information in the last, couple of weeks. But Coach, for you as well, as you get all this information, whether it's the APBI, the document you're talking about, geo reports, strategic plans. How do you make sense out of all of that? What do what's important, what's not important? Is there a way that you approach it, to make sense, tell a story, drive a plan forward based on all of the information you get from events to all these meetings, etc.
Yeah, so I'll jump in first. I know Coach has has a ton of nuggets that he'll drop. But for me, I'm somewhat old school, so I'm gonna take all of these meetings, and I know GI, you've seen it as well. I like to consolidate everything into notes, and then I utilize that to make action items. I also go with some of the technology. With us being a technology company, I use things like the chat GPTs and whatnot, where I'll take that information and ask it to summarize it for me. So while I may understand it as it comes through 4, 5, 10, 20 pages, I get it to summarize it for me into a 1 or 2 page. So maybe I've missed something. Maybe it gives me some other ideas. Maybe the way that it actually spits out that data, I see it from a different perspective. And then I use my resources, whether it be a Miss Lori, whether it be a GI, whether it be coach. I'm calling up folks if I don't know something. So whoever asks, like, what does all these acronyms mean? Perfect. You don't need to know everything. Utilize your resources. So those would be some tips that I would use, at least from first blush.
Absolutely. Anybody else, Coach? You want to jump in?
I'm gonna add it real quick because I'm about to walk in this building. But I like the question you asked. So to even simplify my initial answer, I was going to give problem, solution,
Mm,
problem, solution. We have a dry erase board at the office. It's long. It's 2 dry erase boards that I put together, and it's like almost the top of the ceiling to the bottom.
mm-hmm,
Cut it in half. Problem, solution. What's the problem in the industry that we know that ABS Bank Ready can solve? And what is our solution based on our core principles, our 4 pillars, et cetera, et cetera. So when I'm attending all of these meetings, even just the most recent one with Vest 24, we saw that the veterans need to be more procurement ready.
mm-hmm,
That's lockstep in what we do with making people bank ready. So what's the problem? They're not procurement ready. Well, why? And we do a 5 why analysis on the problem. Why
mm-hmm,
is it? Why? And you get to that core why, that core reason for the problem. Does my solution fix that why? And this is any business. I don't care where you're at. And when you solve it at a higher level, okay, you got to go a little bit higher to these more sophisticated meetings and things of that nature. But all the data you read goes all the way back to problem, solution. Does the problem and all the data show, does it highlight the problem, give you more detail about the problem, give you some more insight about the issues in the market that bring back to the problem that you solve? If it doesn't, okay, a little cherry on top. I get it.
mm-hmm,
Maybe it's a partnership. Maybe it's an adjacent relationship I need to have that brings me into rooms that I'm not going to normally, right? That brings me into these rooms I'm with you guys, and I can have a deeper level of conversation with industry partners to again fix the problem that that I have a solution for. And that's why I gave a bigger, I mean, this is like one of my key IPs, but I keep it right there. It all goes back to that no matter what, business cards,
true.
whatever. If we can stay there as a startup or $100 million revenue company, that keeps it real concise for me and for clients that we work with.
True, because it doesn't matter what you do if it doesn't solve the problem of the client.
No,
You
it sounds pretty, but
know,
thanks,
doesn't
so
matter.
nobody's gonna pay you.
Exactly. You can say, "Oh, my product is so good. You know, it's this and that." Yeah. But that don't matter to me if you're not solving my problem, getting rid of my pain. Anybody else want to jump in? Chanel?
Yeah. So this is one of our core services, and I have a lot of experience doing this with federal and state customers. Sorry for the background. I had to stop for dinner because I have another meeting right after this. But the key thing you can do if you're already in the agency is to identify their problems and their priorities and resolve them before they bring it to you. This is
Yes.
what companies are doing when they're leading you to, the requirement, or they're built into the requirement, they're shaping the opportunity. They already a part of the solution before the agency starts to work on it. And then
True.
another thing you can do, the people that you have there, you have to make sure that your team that you have on site understand that to some effect they're a part of your business development and your capture. People are watching them. The high
Mhm.
performers are who the agency want to work with, and if they're delivering, that's another thing. Wherever you're at, you could expand there. Your customer will become your marketer, and they want you to stay if you can deliver. And then another thing is use the resources that you have access to, which we all mostly have access to if it's public. The reports, the IG, the GAO, the department reports, the whatever deficiencies you see within the financial statements, memos, White House initiatives, White House priorities. These are things that every agency has to do, and some of them have already been tasked to do specific things. You need to look at those, and that's low hanging fruit, because if you're already there, you need to build yourself into the customer's requirement, or they're going to be trying to find ways to do business with you. And I'm only sharing with you things that have worked for me and my customers, and that I've witnessed myself. So um of course it's not like one size fits all. It's everyone's going to be the same way, but these are just some core things. And then
Yeah,
also
good points.
just make sure that you communicate with your customer, because if you build a consistent communication with your customer, they're going to share things with you. They're going to want you to be a part of their solutions if you're there on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, like pay attention, make sure you're receptive to their feedback. They want to
Yep.
see you as a partner. So you want to build your reputation and communicate with your customer so that they see you as a partner. Of course, you're a vendor and you're there to do the job, but they have to see you as a part of their solution.
I love that. I'm just typing in the chat right now. Be a solution provider.
So just to add on what you're saying, Chanel, as a former customer that had, vendors down in my shop that weren't really, good and didn't fit the culture and didn't
Ah,
understand. You are 100% right. So what does that mean to a business owner? That means when I'm hiring, I'm making sure that I'm putting responsible people in those positions that can continue with the business development relationship and understand that every engagement that they represent the organization. So it might not, the best answer might not be that really technical guy, what I mean, who goes down there and they do exactly what they need to do and they leave work. Or another position that's a good touch point is going to be that program, that project manager that's showing up and it's providing those weekly reports to the actual organization. And as they're providing those reports, opportunities to get ahead will be like, hey, I see that this is coming up, and we're already kind of spinning up a capability for that, for us to help you, with the team that you have. But we can discuss growing the team to make sure that we can handle that pain point for you. So I've seen a couple of those things work for us as well.
true. And I want to echo what you all are saying. One, it's important to perform, because I know Michael would never say the name of that company, but you'll never forget him either. Which is, why it's important to perform well. The other thing is, what kind of piggybacking on what Chanel said is, your people are an extension of your business development. So important, because they hear things. Figure out a way how to incentivize them, uh, if they bring you, an opportunity or nugget. So we are at Lori. I did not introduce you. How in the heck did I do that? But I know why I waited to the last minute, because we're about to close out. And I wanted to give Dr. Lori, my sister in service, contracting officer extraordinaire, acquisition professional extraordinaire. And I want to say there's a difference between a contracting officer and an acquisition professional. A acquisition professional is someone who understands the big picture, the long-term strategy of how a company or how an organization is going to buy. She has ensured that veterans receive outstanding care through the community care program, where she ensured that vendors were able to provide care to veterans in locations where a VA hospital might not be. She is about to finish her PhD. She is influencing the future minds and of acquisition professionals throughout the federal government as an adjunct instructor for management concepts. Oh, by the way, she's also a co-architect on that program. And most of all, she is the proud founder of Sowing Our Seeds, newly minted 501c3. And she's going to tell us about an amazing event she's got coming up. And then we're going to close out and ask everybody to give their last few nuggets.
Woohoo! Thank you, Michelle,
Yes, dear.
for this awesome opportunity. And as everyone else has echoed, it is truly an honor and a privilege to be here with you on this panel in service. I am grateful for the opportunity, and you know my prayer is always that God will continue to keep you upright, grounded, and rooted in His Word, forever providing you the wisdom you need to continue to sow into the hearts and the minds of people.
Amen. I receive.
Thank you so much for you all support. But yes, guys, sowing our seeds, it is our, and I say our now because all of us on this panel, this group, and a few other friends, we are just taking it to the streets. So in October, we're going to be hosting our second retreat. It is a retreat for women. Sorry, fellas. And what we offer is an extensive and transformative experience, you know, tailored to empower minority and other women-owned businesses in corporate as well as government contracting. Because again, we want to teach you just how to do you well. So we don't just narrowly just focus on government contracting, but its rules of engagement can be applied in corporate world as well. And we do that through networking, educational sessions, and, you know, expert support. And I have this massive group of brilliant minds that come out and give of themselves. And when I say we give of ourselves, there is absolutely no gatekeeping. And the intent is for you to come with a mindset and ready to know what you need as far as direction, and we're going to get you there. And so all attendees, you gain these tools that you need, and in whatever strategy that's necessary for you to strive and succeed in the marketplace. And everything is symbolized by this metaphor of sowing seeds. And my thing is, when you talk about sowing seeds, it's not about planting. When you sow, you're strewing. So we're throwing seeds out there, and we're mindful that some of these seeds are going to take root. Some of them may not, but our hope and our expectation is that they're going to take root and bear this abundant amount of fruit. And so we already have done our first retreat in February, and we have a lot of great people who even still to this day, we stay connected with them, and they're doing remarkable things in their own right, but now they're more confident, you know, because we, again, not just focusing on just business, guys, we bring everything. So when we talk about going out whole, ladies, you know, we got fitness issues and health things. So how can we be a bit healthy about it? We have an image and a styling consultant that is there. We learn how to appropriately apply makeup. We understand, you know, how to love and care for ourselves. So it's all integrated into the business component of everything. So again, as you learn businesses, as you learn about outreach, as you learn about engagement, as you sit down with loan officers, actual loan officers and financial consultants and business strategists to help you guide your destination and your businesses, you know, you're leaving with this refound, you know, birth of energy and growth. And it is holistic. All meals are catered, and we're going to be in Hilton Head, South Carolina again in October the 10th through the 14th. We are hoping to have tickets and everything ready to start swiping tickets before the end of this month. We're shooting for the middle of the month. As Michelle indicated, we are a new 501c3. The attorneys are currently finalizing some documentation for us in that vein, because what we want to do is make sure that we're structured to operate legally. And so, and that's very important to me, but I am so excited about it. And again, we've been talking about the February retreat since February, and I'm more than certain that we're going to take this October retreat, you know, into the new year as well. And then the extra cool thing about it that we're going to be doing this time is that we're integrating a simultaneous retreat for young girls between the ages of 13 to 17. And what we intend to do for them as well is to, one, be mindful that there's this huge issue that we have here in the United States as well as other places in the world as it relates to trafficking. So, man, how cool is it that we take this moment to pause to impose upon them the information they need to be able to identify, the likelihood and the probability, of being trafficked as a human, and also being mindful that the human trafficker could very well be somebody close in your family or somebody because it's not often always a stranger. And so we want to teach them those things. We'll be talking to them about etiquette. They will have a fitness component as well. Of course, there will be an empowerment component for the young girls as well as financial education and literacy. So and entrepreneurship. So we are very excited about what is happening in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And if you're interested in sending your spouse or your lady, or if ladies, you all are interested in joining, just hit me up and say, Miss Lori, put me on your wait list so I can send you the code so that you can sign up early, because we're only going to have no more than 20 women for the women, and there will be no more than 15 to 20 girls as well. So a very intimate small group. And I park everything right there, Michelle. So
awesome.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Lori. We are looking forward to supporting you. And it's what an amazing vision. So everyone, want to thank you for joining Demystifying Government Contracting, Crucial Conversations. Oh, by the way, if you have something you want us to talk about, send me a DM or send anybody on the stage a DM, and we'll definitely consider it. We love juicy topics. That's why I wanted to bring up the topic today about people saying they're tired of government folks telling them to do their homework. We kind of talked about how it might be important for clients and government and commercial to find out who are they talking to, as important it is for business owners to determine who they're talking to. So I'm going to ask each person to just give one nugget of what people can do when they're sitting in front of a client to kind of set themselves apart and to begin to build and become a solution provider, like Chanel said. And then we're going to close out. Thank you so much.
I can go.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I would say to get ready and stay ready. And the reason why I say that, for example, right now I'm not looking for seeking out fourth quarter opportunities or immediate opportunities, but a partner reached out and there's some immediate opportunities because they know that what I work on, I'm always, in the loop with the policies, or for systems that I know what the requirements are. So if you're going to be if you were looking for partnerships or you're looking to do business with government, just stay ready, because even if you go partner with someone, you have to add value. You can't go and say, because I'm a small business, I'm not able to deliver. They're looking for partners to add value to their solution. So just stay ready. Make sure you're looking at, like Coach said, the industry news and policy changes around whatever your line of business is, because the more informed you are about the industry, the more attractive you'll be.
Perfect. Stay ready. All right, who's next?
Shell, this is Lori. I'll go.
Go
And while you have that brief moment and you're standing there, be prepared to share your capabilities. Present that capability statement that outlines your company's strengths, whatever your unique value propositions, and any other kind of relevant information that you want to share. And because you want to tailor it to, again, what is the intent and the purpose of the conference? Who are you going there to look for? And so you already should be mindful of, I'm going to be meeting people that need this that has this problem, and I have a solution. So be able to articulate that in a very concise way, and just maintain clear and professional communication.
Love it. Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm watching a Since we live, I can't talk like I know, but I'm watching somebody that is just, I mean, knocking over everything, going from place to place, and it's not good. I'm just gonna say it's not good.
So let me jump in and add, I guess, a couple of nuggets here. This is kind of other people have said. One, the government is very predictable, and it actually operates on a timeline. So it behooves the businesses to kind of understand that, hey, first and second quarter is going to be kind of slow. Third quarter, things will pick up. And as Chanel said earlier, the fourth quarter, it can get out of hand. The idea is to always be ready, always look to see how your capability could help solve the government's problem. You want to be a solution provider. And being a solution provider means that not only do you see the requirement, but you can even help the government shape what the requirement might be because they don't understand the expertise like you do. So get in there, be a partner, and take advantage of the timeline.
Love it. Be ready. And the timelines are out there, so there really isn't any excuse. The timeline may be faster than you're ready, but it's not that you don't know it because it's out there. Michael.
You know what? That was. I was just going to chime in because we mentioned timelines. So I would be remiss to say that please keep your eye open for the cybersecurity maturity model certification. The rule is going through the legislature right now, and it's not, is it going to happen? It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. Don't get caught on your back foot. Take a look at your cybersecurity requirements. Make sure that you're meeting them. Most of you guys will only need to do level one because you're only going to handle, you know, federal contract information. But for the ones that are, doing those larger contracts, and they're going to be, handling controlled unclassified information, you really, really need to look at it. It's a very intense certification, but remember, it's a light at the end of the tunnel because you're going to be able to be certified to make that money while everybody is left behind and they don't have the correct cybersecurity controls in place. You'll be ahead of them, so you'll be able to step into some of these contracts that they may lose because they don't have it in place. So just make sure that you're minding your cybersecurity because trust is the biggest thing in business. You want them to trust you.
And we'll talk about it during you and Romeo's session, but there's some risk to the business as well. So
Yes.
and being held accountable. So I can't wait for that conversation. Really excited about it. And I just want to tell everybody again, thank you for joining us. I'm so honored to be in the presence, to have the benefit of receiving the presence and the gifts of these individuals. They have no idea how much their friendship, their excellence, and their love have blessed me and kept me going at many low and dark times. Now I want to say that I thank everyone for joining. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to be right here, right now, at this time to invest in your business, to learn something that will help you bring more clarity to your journey, help you speed along your way. So I just want to close out the way I always close out. It is, I call it the prayer of the business, or my prayer for businesses. And it's based on the prayer of Jabez. May God bless you, bless you, bless you indeed. May he enlarge your territory. May he make your visions plain. May he order your steps. May he make you prosperous. May he keep you from evil. May he keep evil from you. But most of all, may he bless you indeed. Thanks for joining. It's always a pleasure, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Good night.
Michelle. And I'm telling
Thank
y'all, if we
you.
don't do nothing, we have to stay for the benediction. I mean, really,
Uh,
that's part of the
amen.
service.
Amen.
The
And the church
benediction.
said,
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I'll
Good
see
night,
y'all later. I
everybody.
appreciate
Good
it.
night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.